In the long, winding narrative of American politics, few figures cast as long or as complex a shadow as Richard Bruce Cheney. His influence, both visible and hidden, has shaped the course of the nation for decades, leaving an indelible mark on the institutions and ideals that define the United States. His passing in November 2025 at age 84 marks the end of a chapter, but the story he authored continues to shape our world. Cheney's life was a testament to the enduring power of conviction, and his absence is felt not only in the halls of government, but in the ongoing debates that define our era. To understand modern America, its foreign policy, partisan divides, and the nature of executive power, one must grapple with Cheney's legacy. His fingerprints are found on the most consequential decisions of the early 21st century, from the expansion of presidential authority to the reshaping of America's role on the world stage. For 8 years from 2001 to 2009, Cheney was not merely a deputy to President George W. Bush, he was a co-pilot, often with his hands on the controls. Behind closed doors, he wielded influence that rivaled, and sometimes surpassed, that of the president himself. In the aftermath of September 11th, he became the intellectual and operational force behind the War on Terror, redrawing the map of the world and redefining the Republican Party. His decisions set the course for wars abroad and new policies at home, forever altering the nation's trajectory. Yet, the ultimate Republican insider spent his final years as an outcast, breaking with his party over Donald Trump and defending democracy against what he saw as its greatest threat. In a time of deep division, Cheney's voice became one of warning, urging the country to remember its founding principles. Cheney's story is one of power, conviction, and deep controversy, hailed by some as a patriot, reviled by others as a manipulator who led the country into war and sanctioned torture. His actions sparked fierce debate, igniting passions on both sides of the political spectrum. His legacy remains a battleground of competing interpretations, reflecting the polarized nation he left behind. As America continues to wrestle with its identity and future, the story of Dick Cheney endures, complex, controversial, and impossible to ignore. Richard Cheney's journey began in Lincoln, Nebraska, a city nestled in the heartland of America, where the values of hard work and perseverance ran deep. His childhood was further shaped by the rugged landscape of Casper, Wyoming, a place defined by open skies, wind-swept plains, and a close-knit community. Raised by a soil conservation agent father and a devoted mother, Cheney's early life was marked by modesty, not privilege. The family lived simply, instilling in him a sense of humility and resilience. He earned a football scholarship to Yale, a rare opportunity, but struggled academically and flunked out twice. This setback sent him back to Wyoming, where he found his footing and completed his degrees in political science. Cheney's entry into politics came through a prestigious congressional fellowship in 1968, where he discovered his passion for public service and his talent as a practitioner of power. He quickly attached himself to Donald Rumsfeld, a rising political force, beginning a partnership that would shape American policy for decades to come. When Nixon resigned, Cheney, at just 34, became White House Chief of Staff under President Ford, navigating the nation through turbulent times. After Ford's defeat, Cheney returned to Wyoming, won a House seat, and built a reputation as a staunch conservative, eventually rising to become House Minority Whip and a key figure in Republican leadership. At 37, he suffered the first of 5 heart attacks, a reminder of his mortality, but his ambition and drive never waned. President George H.W. Bush made him Secretary of Defense in 1989, where he oversaw the military during the fall of the Berlin Wall and led Operation Desert Storm, cementing his reputation as a decisive leader. His calm, steady leadership during the Gulf War earned him widespread praise and solidified his foreign policy credentials on the world stage. After leaving the Pentagon, Cheney entered the private sector as CEO of Halliburton, a global energy company, a move that would later draw scrutiny and controversy during his vice presidency. These formative years, marked by both triumphs and setbacks, forged the skills, worldview, and relentless determination that would define Dick Cheney's remarkable career in American public life. When George W. Bush asked Dick Cheney to lead his vice presidential search, few expected that Cheney would ultimately choose himself for the role. It was a move that surprised many in Washington, but it would have far-reaching consequences for the Bush administration and the country. Cheney brought decades of Washington experience and foreign policy gravitas, making him a true governing partner. not just a ceremonial figurehead. His deep knowledge of the inner workings of government gave him a unique ability to navigate complex issues and influence decisions at the highest level. Once in office, Cheney transformed the vice presidency, maintaining offices near the Oval Office and assembling a powerful, loyal staff. He was determined to expand the role beyond its traditional boundaries. His team quickly became an independent power center, shaping policy and legal justifications for the administration's most ambitious and sometimes controversial goals. Cheney's influence was felt across a wide range of issues, from energy policy to judicial nominations and national security, thanks to his mastery of the bureaucratic process and his ability to work behind the scenes. He chaired the secretive energy task force, favoring fossil fuel production and drawing early criticism for secrecy and overreach. The lack of transparency fueled suspicions and set the tone for his tenure. Critics saw him as a shadow president, operating with unprecedented authority and secrecy, often eclipsing the traditional role of the vice president. Cheney believed the presidency had been weakened after Watergate and Vietnam, and he made it his mission to restore executive power, convinced that a strong executive branch was essential for national security and effective governance. This philosophy set the stage for the administration's response to crisis, shaping the direction of American policy in the years to come. On September 11, 2001, Cheney was rushed to the White House bunker, making life-or-death decisions as President Bush was airborne. He authorized the military to shoot down hijacked planes, embodying his belief in swift, overwhelming response. In the days that followed, Cheney emerged as the chief architect of the War on Terror, building a new legal and strategic framework. He championed the unitary executive theory, arguing the president had near unchecked authority in wartime. Cheney and his team pushed for warrantless surveillance, military tribunals, and indefinite detention at Guantanamo Bay. He famously declared the need to work on the dark side, prioritizing security over civil liberties and international norms. This radical shift was unapologetic. Cheney saw hesitation as fatal in a generational struggle for survival. With a president who trusted him and a nation in trauma, Cheney's convictions became American policy. The War on Terror would define his legacy and reshape the nation. While the war in Afghanistan was widely supported, Cheney and key neoconservatives set their sights on Iraq. He became the relentless advocate for invading Iraq, presenting Saddam Hussein as an imminent threat with weapons of mass destruction. Cheney's public statements linked Saddam to al-Qaeda, often relying on disputed or false intelligence. His team shaped the intelligence narrative, cherry-picking evidence to support the case for war. The invasion in 2003 found no WMDs, and the war devolved into a bloody insurgency, costing thousands of lives and destabilizing the region. Cheney's predictions of swift victory proved disastrously wrong, and he faced intense criticism for his role. The Iraq War became the most controversial chapter of his career. Cheney became the administration's staunchest defender of enhanced interrogation techniques, waterboarding, sleep deprivation, and more. He argued these methods were necessary, not torture, and vital for national security. Legal counsel produced secret memos narrowly defining torture, providing a shield for these actions. Critics, including legal experts and human rights groups, condemned the program as a perversion of law and morality. Even after damning reports, Cheney remained defiant, insisting the program saved lives. His embrace of the dark side was part of a broader project to expand executive power, often clashing with Congress and the courts. The infamous hospital showdown over NSA surveillance revealed the lengths Cheney would go to protect presidential authority. For decades, Cheney embodied the Republican establishment, hawkish, pro-business, and traditional. But the rise of Donald Trump marked a dramatic shift, as the party embraced populism and nationalism, rejecting Cheney's worldview. Trump's America First foreign policy was the antithesis of Cheney's internationalism. The true rupture came on January 6, 2021, as Cheney watched the Capitol attack in horror, seeing it as an assault on the Republic. He became one of Trump's fiercest critics, declaring Trump the greatest threat to the nation in a campaign ad for his daughter Liz. The ultimate GOP insider became a pariah, choosing to defend the Constitution over party loyalty. Cheney's break with the party he helped build was complete. His transformation from kingmaker to outcast was one of the most dramatic reversals in modern politics. The Cheney-Trump divide became personal through Liz Cheney's political career. Liz, a staunch conservative, refused to accept Trump's election lies and condemned the January 6th attack, putting her at odds with the GOP. When Liz was ousted from House leadership, her father stood firmly with her, seeing her fight as his own. He publicly praised her courage as she served on the January 6th committee, even accompanying her to the House floor on the insurrection's anniversary. In 2024, Cheney made the unthinkable decision to endorse Democrat Kamala Harris over Trump, citing the need to defend the Constitution. This public alliance with his daughter marked a final dramatic break with the party he had served for 50 years. The same conviction that drove his controversial policies was now deployed in defense of democracy. In his final years, Cheney saw the greatest threat as coming from within. Dick Cheney's death closed the book on a life at the center of American power for half a century. His legacy is fiercely debated, patriot or power-hungry ideologue. Supporters credit him with keeping America safe after 9/11, arguing his tough choices were necessary. Detractors blame him for the Iraq War, torture, and dangerous expansions of executive power. His low approval ratings and Darth Vader nickname reflect the deep distrust he inspired. Yet, his final act, defending the Constitution against Trump, complicates any simple judgment. Cheney's life forces us to confront hard questions about power, security, and liberty. His legacy is etched into the ongoing American experiment, a story of conviction and consequence that will be debated for generations.